Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you are all well on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. This is video 3 of 4. That's it. Three of 4, because we're going live later on today. But I just want to do this video just as a little remembrance of Liam Payne. You know, I watch and look every day to see if there was new information, new things being said, anything whatsoever that would offer some kind of light in the Liam Payne saga. And there just at the moment there just isn't anything that's coming out in support of an ongoing criminal investigation with respect to what happened to Liam. We know in November there's going to be the inquest. How that's going to conclude, I do not know. It's just so frustrating. But I came across this and I thought, you know what? Let's share this for those of you who haven't seen it, because it just reminds us of who Liam Payne was and what he did for people, and how much of a kind soul he was. And at the end of it, we'll conclude at how that could have played as a factor into what happened to Liam. But it's actually James Arthur. James Arthur has come forward and said, Liam Payne reached out to me after my fame struggle. Picture of James Arthur there. Gotta love a bit of James Arthur music, mate. My guilty pleasure. Don't tell anyone, just between us. Singer James Arthur has said Liam Payne reached out to him after he won the X Factor and struggled to deal with fame. We know that James Arthur went through a period after the X Factor where he really did struggle. I believe he actually fell out with Simon Cowell. And he kind of had to come back as a bit of a resurgence as a new guy, and he did in a big way. Payne, 1/5 of boy band One Direction, who came third during Series 7, died in October 2024. He fell from a balcony in Argentina. He was just 31 years old. By no means were me and Liam sort of best mates or anything like that, he told ITV's Lorraine on Monday. I think he was just sort of like, at the time when I came up, One Direction were obviously the biggest thing in the world. And there's a picture of them two together. And James Arthur put a post there, really sad to hear about Liam, thoughts and prayers with the family. And they were on the X Factor, I think, a couple of years before me. And when I won the show and publicly struggled a little bit, he reached out to a mutual friend of ours and requested to have a one-to-one with me and have a chat with me. Like I say, although we weren't close, I'll never forget how kind he was at that time. He went out of his way to be like, I went through this, and that's the kind of person he was. I didn't know him really well, but any time I encountered Liam, he was concerned with my well-being every time. So it was a shame to see, what happened. Prior to his death, Payne had opened up about his journey to sobriety and how his drinking began when the global mania for the boy band meant they were often stuck in hotel rooms where alcohol was available. Arthur has also spoken publicly about his battle with addiction as well as anxiety. He appeared on the show to talk about his new album and tour, and said his albums have got more and more personal and more vulnerable. The court in Argentina dropped charges in February of criminal negligence against 3 out of the 5 people who had been charged in connection with Payne's death. At the Brit Awards in March, Payne was remembered with a video montage which showed him with his family and a clip from his time on the X Factor, and then with One Direction, who won 7 gongs at the Music Awards before they split up. After his band went on hiatus, Payne released his debut solo album LP1 in December 2019, which included songs Polaroid and Strip That Down featuring Quavo, as well as the track For You with Rita Ora. But it's, like I say, it's just a nod to Liam Payne, the kindness that Liam Payne had. And I think many of us who are still kind of thinking about Liam Payne, what happened to him, and the travesty that seems to be that there's just so many people around him that leached off him, and I don't know, just benefited from what a kind and generous person he was, and then seemingly in a period of need and time of need, if you want to believe the push narrative that he kind of spiraled in the days leading up to what happened to him, it's just sad. It's real sad and tragic that he was always seemingly there for everybody, but then nobody was there for him when it actually mattered. And then what happened to him happened. And like I say, that's best case scenario. Best case scenario is that something happened in the days following Kate's departure from Argentina. And the people that were around him, like Rogelio Norris, for instance, who were well aware of the struggles that Liam Payne had had. They were well aware of the things that Liam Payne didn't like and that really tested him. And they allowed him to not only be there and be there on his own, surrounded by these things, but was seemingly facilitating in those things. And again, through the documentation that came alongside Jeff Payne's sort of legal battle, if you like, with Rogelio Norris, it's even written in there that Rogelio Norris, supposedly this true friend, this dear friend of Liam Payne's, had been involved in the facilitation of pushing Liam Payne away from sobriety and into this more darker area of his life that he struggled with and was trying so hard to get out of. So I can't work out for the life of me how these people, these individuals, some of them who physically manhandled Liam in the minutes before his death, have walked away scot-free, have walked away, washed their hands of it, been able to just say, no, that's it, they're not to be held responsible. It's nothing at all. I can't get my head around it. I can't make sense of it. And again, I still intend to go, as I've said previously. I'm going to go over there. Hopefully, the dust will have settled somewhat. Some people are concerned about the safety of going there. What have you? By the time I get over there, the dust will have truly settled. But I just want to get a clearer view, a picture of what is going on there. I can't help but conclude that there was people who didn't have Liam's best interests at heart. There was people who benefited from being around Liam, whether that be through a publicity situation, whether it be from a monetary standpoint, that they got money through him. But just when it mattered, when it counted, despite the fact that he would consistently go out of his way to help others, as aforementioned, that when the chips were down, who put their neck out for Liam? Who was around Liam to make sure that Liam was okay? You know, he was in Argentina to obtain a visa to move his life from the UK to America to be with this female, and she fucking ditched him. She ditched him, and days after that ditching of him, he would be deceased. She ditches him and leaves him with Rogelio Norris. And Rogelio Norris was literally there with him not long before he dies. And I just can't work it out. I can't work it out why nobody's being held accountable for anything, apart from what seems to be a couple of patsies who spent a little bit of time with Liam with a little bit of the devil's dandruff, whatever, on a recreational level at best. And they're the ones that have got the whole brunt of this fell on their lap, like they're the ones to blame. There's something much more deep, dark and sinister around what happened to Liam. This was a long con in my eyes, and he was the victim of that. Let me know down below what you think. Rest in peace, Liam Payne. Love you all. Mwah.